Everything that I'm about to show you in this video is stuff people pay $500 to $2,000 plus for in a course. And I'm gonna give it to you completely for free right now in the next 60 minutes. I used this exact playbook to go from delivering DoorDash to pay my rent to starting and exiting over $1 million worth of home service businesses and now owning equity in a portfolio of almost 100 home service businesses that's generated over $25 million in revenue. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm here to give you the playbook. So by the end of this video, you're gonna know which business you can start. You're gonna know exactly how you can run it without handling any of the physical labor or service delivery. You're gonna know how you can get your first clients for $0, and you're gonna know the exact steps you should take in your first 7 days so you can get started immediately with this model. No fluff, no upsell wall. This is the entire playbook, start to finish. Most people in my position would gatekeep this all behind a paywall, but if this is the only video of mine that you ever watch and you go off and start a successful business with it, good. That's the point. So enough with the chit chat, let's just get right into it. I hope you guys have a pen and a piece of paper, or you've got your laptop open ready to take some notes. We're gonna jump straight into this. This is going to be an hour long, no cuts, no edits, raw. We're gonna go through the entire business model. Like I said, I'm not gonna hold anything back, no gatekeeping, no paywalling. I got my beverage here. Hopefully you guys are ready to go, and let's just jump straight into it, all right? So first, let's talk about why home services. You probably have some idea if you're even on this video watching in the first place, but here's my thesis for why home service businesses, for someone adding a second business type, or for a busy professional looking to diversify. Here's my thesis for why home services and why these types of businesses in particular. The first thing is for my 9-to-5ers, my people with corporate careers, all of that stuff who are looking to start owning a business. Well, you know as well as I do that you oftentimes don't have an income problem, you have an ownership problem. The issue is, as an employee, you are trading your time for money. Income stops when you stop. You're subject to layoffs, economic shifts, and someone else's decisions about your future. You know that as well as I do. As a business owner, you build an asset that generates income independently of you working. Your wealth will compound much more over time. You control the vehicle that makes your money, not to mention tax benefits, not to mention the time and location freedom that come alongside of it, and so on and so forth. If you're watching this video, it's because you know that you need to start something, some sort of business. So let's talk about why I like boring businesses in particular. I believe that home services is one of the most accessible paths to business ownership that exists. There's a low barrier to entry, it's high recurring revenue, and you remove yourself from operations in 12 to 18 months. I did it twice now, in the process of doing it a third time, and I know you guys can do the exact same thing. So let's talk about boring businesses versus sexy businesses and why I am the boring business guy and will forever remain the boring business guy. Your sexy businesses are businesses like drop shipping, SaaS, agencies, course selling even, content creators, influencers. All of these all fall in this newfangled, sexy online business portfolio or umbrella. The issue with a lot of these businesses are drop shipping, super high failure rate, super thin margins, dependent on trends, supply chains. You're working with overseas product manufacturers. It's not a fun business to run, and you are constantly one bad product selection away from resetting yourself all the way back down to zero. A SaaS startup, it takes months or years of unpaid work to build a product, and it's a winner-take-all dynamic. Most SaaS products are trying to steal market share from other products. It's very hard to come up with a novel idea in the SaaS world. And this is only if you have deep technical skill. If you don't, you need immense funding to pay someone else to build something on your behalf. Agency, constant client churn. It's a race to the bottom on pricing. You can always be beat by somebody overseas doing the same thing for cheaper. It is a nightmare. I've done agency, I've done SaaS, I've done product-based businesses. You trade one boss for many bosses in the agency world. It's just a constant cycle of restarting from zero all the time. Course selling, massively saturated. You have to be an expert to not be scamming people. And even if you are an expert, it's extremely hard to get eyeballs and beat that saturation that exists. Your income depends on your marketing ability, not even on your client results. A lot of course sellers are selling on made up client results or non existent client results altogether. All these businesses look great on Instagram, but they're really hard to build lasting wealth with. Versus the boring businesses like residential cleaning, holiday or permanent lighting, pressure washing, window and gutter cleaning, handyman services, plumbing, HVAC, epoxy flooring, insulation, mold remediation, junk removal, etc., 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 etc. I can only fit so many on the screen here, but I can't speak highly enough of this particular industry and avenue to go about starting new businesses. We're looking at recurring weekly, bi-weekly revenues, clients, even on the residential side, that average $3,200 a year in lifetime value. Most proven entry point. There is an exact playbook you can follow in residential cleaning. Holiday lighting, 50 to 100K compressed into a 10-week season in your first season. I did over 100 in my first season. This is high ticket, high margin on repeat services, and clients rebook annually if you deliver a great quality service. Pressure washing, 40 to 50% profit margins, dramatic before and after visuals that sell themselves and drive referrals. I mean, these are businesses you could start as a one-man shop easily. And there is always going to be demand. As people become more and more financially strapped, their biggest asset will always be their primary home and residence. They will spend money to maintain and upkeep that to the highest standard, especially when a lot of home services are non-discretionary spending. If you need your mold remediated in your house, you need your mold remediated in your house. It's going to kill you or make you very sick otherwise. Massive opportunities that exist here. Window, gutter, handyman, lowest startup. I mean, you could start some of these businesses for $100. They are essential services that every homeowner needs, and they are easy to bundle for higher tickets. All of these business models are businesses that nobody even talks about, but they're quietly generating 20 to 50, 100K plus months with 30 to 50% margins depending on the specific model and vehicle and client acquisition strategies that you have going. Okay, I think I don't need to say too much more, and I want to start to get into the model and how you can profit off of this, but I really want you to see the opportunity in front of you so that you don't take it for granted here, okay? Let's lastly talk about the structural advantages of home services from a bulleted list perspective. You have recurring revenue. Clients come back weekly, monthly, annually, biannually, quarterly, built-in repeat business that compounds over time. Or you could even just be the go-to service provider, like a handyman that gets called out every time something is needed. They are essential services. They're recession resistant or recession proof altogether. People will cut their Netflix or eating out way before they cut cleaning or landscaping or mold remediation in their home. They're going to need those services. You know, that's not something that they can just do away with casually. They have super low startup costs, 500 to 5,000. Like I mentioned, I know someone who made $100,000 profit with a window cleaning company that was started with $100. Right. I know somebody who grew a landscaping company to like $3 million a year and started with a rake, a bucket, and a push lawnmower. The entire thing was purchased at a garage sale for $300. I mean, you compare that to a $50,000 franchise fee or $250,000 for a restaurant, or purchasing a tech company if you want to take something over rather than try to build it. Even just development for a tech product is going to run you $50,000 to $200,000. They have fragmented markets. Most competitors have no websites, minimal reviews, no systems. If you show up professionally in a market, in an industry like this, you can take market share immediately. You don't have to go and establish yourself as some crazy monster player. You're not competing with the likes of a Coca-Cola or an OpenAI or something like that in those traditional, more sexy business models. And lastly, they're infinitely scalable. The same model works at 5K a month, 50K a month, 500K a month. You just replicate the system. You don't need to reinvent the business. All you need to scale is more service areas, more service types, and more service providers, and then just acquire more clients. That's it. The best businesses are not the ones that look cool on Instagram. They're the ones that deposit money in your bank account every month, whether you're working or not. That's what you want. You're starting a business not for brownie points, not to look cool, not to be able to say, oh, I own this business. If you are, then exit the video now. If you're starting the business to make money, to provide financial freedom for yourself, for your family, for the people that you love and care about in your life, to give yourself freedom to travel and live and experience the limited time that you have, this is the business model for you. All right, let's jump right into quickly. I'm going to share with you some of my qualifications and my story so that you know that I'm not talking out of my ass and I really know this stuff. I'll give you the 30-second synopsis here. In January of 2022, I left college to pursue professional soccer. I was a top of my class in high school. I was a high honor roll academic All-American in college. And I left pursuing my biomedical engineering degree and career to try to play professional soccer. I went all in on this dream that I had had since I was a child. I did end up signing pro. I played a professional season, and then my soccer career was over. I had a career-ending injury, and I was basically forced to rebuild from scratch. In 2023, I was delivering food, trying side hustles, trying to finish college online. Nothing was really working for me. I was strapped. I did not know how I was going to find my way out of that situation. In November of 2023, I scraped together the last of my savings with my beautiful wife, at the time fiance Emily, and we went all in on starting a boring business. It was a cleaning company. I said I can learn how to clean and run the cleaning business myself from the beginning, and we can eventually scale ourselves out of this. Now, I hit my head a bunch of times, learned a bunch of lessons, but eventually we found a lot of success with it. In July of 2024, I got married to Emily. She was my business partner already at the time. We were doing things together, kind of helping me in the business, but she was working full-time in an entry-level engineering position. In the middle of 2024, we proved the model and we realized, hey, we could replicate this. We started a second cleaning company remotely in another city. We had two businesses running simultaneously. At the end of 2024, we started our first seasonal business, testing a completely new service type in our portfolio, a lighting company. And then in early 2025, we were able to exit the first company, proving that the model was not just buildable, it was sellable. In June of 2025, we then actually turned the playbook into the partner model. With 5% equity or revenue shares and aligned incentives, we started building pseudo franchise locations with other home service business entrepreneurs and people that wanted to just shortcut their learning curve, get the playbook, and jump right into business with us right from day one. Take our winning marketing, hiring, and all of those tools. And we launched the HSE Partner Program. At the end of 2025, I exited my second company, with marking 2 successful exits in 1 year, and the portfolio model was completely validated. In January of 2026, my wife left her civil engineering career to manage my content and operations and come full in on running this business model alongside of me and enjoying her life. This was one of the most successful feeling moments of my life, was getting to retire my wife from a 9-to-5 and give us the full freedom and flexibility to travel and do all of these things, all within just a couple years of starting my first business and my first location inside of the remote home services industry. And now we have helped start over 300 businesses, actually probably closer to 400 businesses with tons of service types. We're still building new businesses every day. I started over 100 businesses that do well over $250K per month in my personal equity ownership portfolio. I know what I'm doing. I've done this hundreds of times. I own parts of companies operating in tons of different service types. And this is my bread and butter. This is what I have dedicated my entire professional life and working career into. So when I say that I know what I'm talking about, here's the proof for you. All right, let's jump into the 5 businesses, because I know that that's why you're here. Hopefully you're on the edge of your seat, you've got your pen and paper out, and we're ready to jump right into 5 example businesses that you could potentially start with this model. And then I'll break down the remote operator model, how you can get your first clients, what systems you need, how you scale, and we'll go on and on from there. So let's start with 5 best businesses that you could start with today, this weekend, right? First, most proven model is your residential and commercial cleaning company. Startup is super cheap. It's low risk, fast path to recurring revenue, and there's a huge data set of success stories in my personal portfolio alone, let alone all the independent cleaning business owners that exist. Residential clients average $3,200 a year in lifetime value, and commercial contracts provide stable, predictable income. This business model is still a slam dunk if operated properly. The margins are decent even after fulfillment, even if you own the actual cleaning supplies and materials, which I'm going to teach you how to get out of that as well. But for first-time owners, this is a super proven, super profitable, great business model to start. The next one that I love and have started personally and have worked with many other people to start is lighting businesses, holiday and permanent lighting. Slightly higher startup costs and expenses, but higher revenue ceilings. You can also choose if you want to run this seasonally or if you want to run it year round. Higher margins and way higher average tickets, ranging from $800 to $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 plus jobs. They're high revenue intensity in short windows. This is an extreme revenue concentration during the holiday season and then can be stretched out to also being a revenue generating machine year round. The high average ticket means you have to deal with fewer clients to still generate huge revenue numbers. This is great as a second business to complement year-round services if you just want to do holiday, or starting the two side by side to complement each other. My lighting company did $200,000 in my first full 10-week season. I've run these businesses. I know these businesses well. They are extremely lucrative and far, far less competitive than a lot of other business models that exist out there today. Pressure washing and soft washing is another great company. Slightly higher startup if you're going to be purchasing the actual equipment and things like that. But once you own the equipment, you have virtually no expense to fulfill other than labor if you're not in the field doing the jobs, which I would not recommend that you are. And we'll talk about that in the remote operator section. These businesses can easily get to 20, 50, even more $1,000 per month. They are a little bit seasonal depending on where you live, but it is a rebook service. Quarterly or biannual services are very common in this. The margins are strong, the average ticket is high, and it is a great business model for selling results. It's easy to generate social media content, before and afters, ad creatives, all of that stuff. Make this a slam dunk business model. These have the highest profit margins in the space once you own all the equipment and materials. You have satisfying before and afters, and you can do everything from a residential driveway to commercial storefronts, parking lots, etc. Very easy to bundle with window and gutter cleaning for higher ticket as well. And that is our next business model that we're going to jump into, which is the easiest startup. It is almost free to start a window and gutter cleaning business. Even this $300 seems high to me. You could start a window and gutter cleaning company with $150. It's the lowest cost to entry. It's the easiest thing to add on to other businesses if you're looking to expand and add services to an existing business that you already have and are operating. This is the absolute lowest barrier to entry. You could start this weekend after watching a YouTube video with some basic equipment. Gutter cleaning is a gold mine because nobody wants to do it. And this is great sold as a bundle, window and gutters, higher ticket per visit. And you actually are honestly helping your client not have to facilitate and deal with two separate service providers for two services that can easily be done at the same time. Helps you, helps them. This can be sold quarterly, biannually, annually, recurring as well. Lastly, handyman services. I love handyman services because of how broad the demand is. The startup for this can be very inexpensive as well, just depending on how wide of a scope you want to cover for these services. Revenue could be 10 to 50K per month for one crew easily, two crews easily. This is not necessarily on a strict or rigid schedule for repeating services, but there is definitely ongoing repeat demand. Anytime you need something, if you have a good trusted handyman, you just call them back over and over and over again because you've already got a relationship with them. With super strong margins as well, essentially only needing some, maybe bits and bobs and one-off pieces that you're probably going to bill the customer for anyway, and then a basic tool set, which once you own, your only cost becomes labor, and your average ticket is still pretty decent. You can bill a pretty high hourly rate for just about any service with a decently high service minimum as well. This is broad demand. They'll always be needed. Every homeowner needs a handyman. There's such a wide range of services, which means it's endless demand, and there's a higher skill ceiling, but also higher pricing power. This is great for building long-term client relationships and referral networks. This is a great thing to offer to property management services and other things like that. Handyman is a slam dunk service. There's no wrong answer here is what I want to get at. These are just 5 options. The only wrong answer is not starting and just sitting on your hands and waiting and continuing to think and make pros and cons lists. So now let's talk about how we can operate these business models in an even better way than so many companies that run these businesses are currently doing it. And this is called the remote operator model. So you've got 2 paths to run a business like this. The traditional model, where you buy all the equipment and materials, you learn the trade, you do the work yourself, maybe you hire somebody out at some point here, but You're geographically limited. You're limited by the supplies that you own. You're limited by the people that you can actually physically reach and interact with because, well, it's the traditional model. If you don't have somebody that can go to their home and do the service, you can't sell the job to them. You are the business in this case. Whether you're the one actually physically delivering the service or not, you still are the business. You're the face of the brand, and you have to be involved in the day-to-day, especially if you're the one delivering the service. And for many of you watching this, you have a full-time job. You have a career. You don't want to leave your sales job or your tech job or your healthcare job or your, any job to then go and be a handyman. You don't know how to be a handyman. So first you have to learn the trade. And then two, you don't want to be working with your hands every single day, breaking your back. That's not your objective. That's just trading one job for another job. Just because you're your own boss doesn't mean that it's not still a job. The other option is the remote operator model, where you focus on generating leads, selling jobs, managing your customer's experience, and then subcontracting the service delivery out to professionals. In this case, you own the business. It's not that you are the business, you own the business. And this can be done in a 6-step process, okay? The first step is just simply setting up the business. This is going to be the same whether you're doing traditional or the remote model. You're going to be having your LLC registered, Google business profile, phone number, basic landing page, simple things like this, cementing that your company exists and is registered and is findable by customers. Next, you need to generate leads. Again, same thing you're going to have to do for a traditional business model. You're going to use Nextdoor, Facebook groups, Google ads, referrals, meta ads. The leads will come to you if you set lead magnets out properly. Then you need to sell the jobs. Same thing you have to do, traditional and remote business model. You need to answer calls, give quotes, book appointments if you need to go and do walkthroughs or things like that. You are the sales engine. You become the individual that's actually closing and selling jobs. Same thing, remote or traditional. This is where the difference comes in. If you want to run the traditional, you are the one that now goes and does the service delivery. And when you are going and doing the service delivery, how much are you marketing? How much are you selling? How focused are you on growing the business? You're not. You're focused on delivering the service. And you might have higher margin because you have no overhead, but that's your focus. It's on delivering the service. Well, if you take the remote model and you subcontract that work out to reliable professionals who already do that service for a living, but they just don't have enough business, they're already a window cleaner who just can't keep themselves really busy, well, you go and you provide them the opportunity to do more window cleaning services, and then you own the customer and the client experience so that when they come back, the customer comes back to you and you can choose to subcontract to the same individual, a different individual over and over again. It's a win for them because they're actually getting more work on their calendar and more work that they can do to have them earning more income and making more money. It's a win for your customer because you're easy to find and you provide them an excellent quality customer experience. And it's a win for you because you have all of the margin between the subcontractor's rate and the price that the customer pays, which could oftentimes be 50% plus depending on the business model. Reliable pros can handle the service delivery for you, and you just provide the pipeline and infrastructure that they need and aren't either willing, able, or financially successful enough to be able to do on their own. Lastly, you manage the customer experience, follow up, collect reviews, handle issues, build the brand, which again you're going to do in the traditional or the remote model. So not like it's a much more difficult step. If anything, it's easier in the remote model because you're not worried about service delivery. So you can be more insistent and more consistent with that follow-up and managing the customer experience than you would if you were having to leave that job and rush straight over to another job to do more service delivery so that you could continue to grow your business. And then lastly, you systemize and step back. This is when you actually automate each step until you're only involved in the highest level growth decisions and you start hiring in people to take over sales, take over marketing, take over the hiring process, and you focus on the growth phase. Now, this is, again, going to be the same in the traditional and the remote model. If you ever want to scale out of operating the business and you start hiring people, you're going to need to systemize things if you want to be able to hire people and have them perform at a high level. So the remote model is actually no extra steps. If anything, all it does is make your fulfillment much simpler for you. Yes, it could potentially decrease your margins slightly, but once you factor in the fact that you don't have to purchase equipment, the fact that you don't have to own vehicles, you don't have to own office space, you don't have to pay payroll overheads, you don't have to pay workers' comp or unemployment insurances, all of those things, all of those savings actually net the margins out to be the same, or in early days, oftentimes better for the remote model. You don't need to know how to clean a house. You need to know how to run a business, and those are completely different skills. You can find plenty of people who know how to do the service delivery for you, and you can focus on running the business, which many people are not willing or able to learn how to do. So now that we've broken down the remote model and why it makes so much sense, and I'll even add one more bit of context here, you can max out your service area with the traditional model very quickly, right? Especially if you're in an at-all isolated service area, like let's say you're servicing the city of Madison, Wisconsin. The nearest next city is an hour and a half, 2 hours away from you. You're not going to be able to expand operations without starting a whole new second entity and whole new trucks and whole new warehouse and whole new employees and all of that. With the remote model, you could service 20 different service areas at the same time with the same marketing, same ad creatives, same landing page, same hiring pipeline. All you're simply going to need is to tweak the locations in which your subcontractors are operating out of, and your service area becomes infinitely large, as opposed to your service area being confined to where you can physically get to and deliver services on a realistic timeline. So now you understand the model and the framework. Well, let's talk about how you get your first clients. And you can do this for $0. There are so many $0 channels available to you. You can start with friends and family. You could post on Nextdoor. You can post in Facebook groups. You could actually focus on, once you find the subcontractors, you could use even their network potentially to find people who are in need of the services. A lot of these subcontractors honestly don't even want to touch the business side of things. They don't want to deal with billing. They don't want to deal with scheduling. They don't want to deal with follow-up. They don't want to deal with running customer credit cards and dealing with unhappy people and collecting reviews. I have had so many subcontractors that work for me that have abandoned their personal books of business because they make just as much money working with me, but with so much less headache. You can also use Google Business Profile. These are super high intent leads. You can ask for referrals. You could go and knock doors. You could go to community events. You could just text everyone in your phone book a simple text message. There are so many ways. And if you're listening to me and you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, don't start a business." I mean, unless you are willing to either invest capital or get your hands dirty a little bit, you can't expect to start and grow a business. I mean, you don't even need to ask people specifically to pay you for your service. You can ask them to just refer you to other people, to just speak about you in the community to other people. I mean, I have gotten people from all of these avenues and in brand new areas. When I started my first cleaning business, we were in a brand new city and we still got our first clients through friends and family and personal referrals. We still got clients through Nextdoor by just posting and responding to other people's posts. We still got clients through Facebook groups with some before and after photos and bios about myself and my wife. We still got people through direct referrals from our subcontractors who had work that they weren't able to fulfill or didn't want to fulfill, or they just didn't want to deal with the business side of it and turned the business over to us for us to mark it up a little and take care of all that stress for them. We got people through our Google Business Profile by posting updates and posting information on it. We got people through referrals. When we did complete jobs, we asked people, "Hey, you are our ideal customer. Is there anyone else you know that's just like you that might benefit from this service? We'll offer them X discount, and we would love to take care of them and just get connected with more people just like you." You have to understand that if you don't want to spend money, your first dollar of revenue can't come from an ad. It's going to come from a conversation. It's going to come from meeting someone, shaking hands with someone, posting a piece of organic content, and you can find customers with all of these different strategies. You don't have to overcomplicate this, okay? Then let's look at when you start advertising. Spending money on ads right away when you don't have a reputation might not make sense for you. The organic methods can get you your first 5 to 10 clients and validate your demand. You can farm reviews from these people. You can farm referrals from these people. Hopefully try to convert some of them to some sort of recurring service. You get your first before and after pieces of content with them, and you validate demand in your service area. Once you have reviews and proof of work, then you can invest in paid channels where your reputation converts traffic into bookings. Even if those first few bookings are just test cleanings that validate the quality of your subcontractors and give you reviews and give you before and afters and give you some proof of concept. From 0 to 5K per month, you can do this organic only. You don't have to, but you can easily get to 5K per month organic only. Friends, family, next door, Facebook, building a reputation, collecting reviews, posting on your Google business profile, asking people for referrals. All of this can easily get you to 5K per month if you are willing to put in the effort and the energy on the organic side. Now, to get to 10K per month, you're going to need some element of GBP domination. You're going to need to get some Google Maps, actual reviews and build up this social and online presence. You're going to be able to then compound your reviews and your organic leads, and you can become a top-rated local option because Google not only prioritizes total review count, but they also prioritize reviews in a trailing 30-day period. So while you might be starting a company and looking and saying, hey, the number one service provider in my area has 1,000 5-star reviews, that's okay. You don't need to compete with them on total reviews. You can compete with people on reviews in a trailing 30-day period. You can compete with people on the quality of the reviews, the fact that your reviews include photos or are long and include certain keywords in them. You can take your business to 10K per month just with organic and then GBP. And to get past 10K per month, in my experience, you're probably going to need some level of paid advertising. I wouldn't wait until I'm over 10K per month to start paid advertising unless I was really trying to start this business as lean as possible. But in order to get past it, you're probably going to need some element of paid advertising, at least in the beginning stages while you're stacking your client base. You can also use paid advertising to just try to break even on first services and farm more reviews, more referrals, and more of your organic domination. These can be Google ads, local service ads, Meta ads, Thumbtack ads, Yelp ads. I mean, there are so many places that are begging you to spend money there. And if you have a test budget to run with them, a lot of them will actually generate you solid results. Now you have reviews and proof that will also help you convert more paid traffic, which will help you get more reviews and more proof, which will help you convert more paid traffic. And the cycle repeats and it becomes a self-feeding system. All right. When you're starting advertising, I love pay-per-lead platforms. These platforms are incentivized to get you in front of buying customers. You only pay when someone actually reaches out and you're actually given a chance to connect with a real live person, not just for impressions or views or clicks that could potentially lead nowhere and not even give you any real at-bats. I don't mind advertising for impressions or clicks or views if you're having it as part of a diversified advertising process or system that includes pay-per-lead platforms. These can be Google local service ads, Thumbtack, Yelp, Angie, Home Advisor. I don't like these as much, but again, in the beginning, if we're looking to take a very diversified approach and test how certain things will work in our service market, all of these are potentially good avenues to go. I think Google local service ads is still some of the highest intent leads that you can possibly get. I also think the Thumbtack is good if you're super, super fast and quick. The sales process and things like that are going to have to be dialed in and refined over time. But if you've got a decent framework and idea to follow as you go and attack this stuff, you can be very successful with really any of these. I have found massive success using local service ads, using Thumbtack, using Yelp, even using some Home Advisor in the mix as well in the early days when I'm just focused on acquiring as many clients, reviews, testimonials, before and afters, and marketing materials that I possibly can. Okay, the last thing for getting your first clients is going to be the referral flywheel. It is massively important that you understand this. It starts with closing a client and providing a great service. If you genuinely provide a great service, customer experience, and service quality itself, you can then ask for a review, collect a 5-star review, ask for a referral. You may get one, you may not, and then use those reviews and referrals to drive new leads, to close a new client, to send you right back to a great service delivery, asking for a review or referral, driving a new lead, closing a new client. And if you have any recurring elements in your business, or you have any back-end value to offer your customer, which every business that I spoke about has, you will continue to raise the floor of your business to, we're going to always do at least $500 a month, to we're always going to do at least $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. When I exited my cleaning company, we had a floor set at $15,000, $20,000 a month. It was impossible for us to do less than that, just off of returning and recurring customers, organic volume. If we never ran a single ad, we were still going to push those numbers because we understood the $0 channels, we understood the advertising side of the game, and we understood the referral flywheel. You have to be able to understand that you get clients from two different ways. You get clients from farming and you get clients from hunting. And those are two completely separate things. Hunting is advertising. You're looking for a client, you're getting an opt-in, you're getting a scent, you're getting a track in the wilderness, you're following that track, you're getting a kill, and you have that client then that you service immediately. Farming is the organic side of the business. It's the social media content. It's the GBP content. It's the referrals. It's the reviews where you are spreading your seed out there and you are watering and tending to it. And as time passes, you will raise a harvest that costs you nothing, costs you no time or effort or energy on a per client basis because you tended the entire field altogether. And as you grow that field, you will grow the harvest that comes from it. As you spend more time and energy and money hunting, you will be able to bring in a bigger crop, a bigger kill, a bigger fruit of your labor. So those are the differences, right? One you go out and get, and the other you just lay a foundation and you let it come to you. And both are super valuable in building that initial client base. You can use these exact tools to get started here immediately. Almost none of these take more than a couple hours to set up. Some of them can be set up in 15 minutes. These are all things you can immediately apply. Now that we've got our first couple of clients, let's talk about systems. There's 5 systems that you need. You need lead management, you need booking and scheduling, you need quality control, you need financial systems, and then you need communication systems. Okay, let's go through them each one by one here. Lead management is where you track your leads. This can also be called a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, right? You don't want any lead to go unanswered, and ideally you want your response time to be less than 5 minutes. I even say, for my aggressive people, less than 1 minute. That's the standard I hold my own companies to. A CRM will handle a lot of this automatically. It will also handle the follow-ups. It'll also handle, staying in contact with that customer if they don't close immediately and they have a more extended sales cycle. Then you have your booking and scheduling. This is where clients can book online, where they get automated confirmations, where you can manage your calendar, and you can see what subcontractors need to be in what place, at what time to provide what services. There's no phone tag with a properly set up and optimized booking and scheduling platform. This even allows clients to self-book online, and it becomes the central hub that you communicate with your service provider, your customer, and you in the middle. All three of you can see one central area where the information is, so there's never a lack of communication. The customer knows when and where the service will be rendered and what the scope of work includes. The cleaner knows when and where the service will be rendered and what the scope of work includes and what they're going to be receiving or getting paid for it. And you know everything, what the client's paying, what the cleaner's receiving, what the scope of work should be done, when and where it's happening, who's completing the service, all of the information in the middle, right? Next, you have your quality control systems. This is oftentimes built into a booking or scheduling platform, but it's also pre and post-service check-ins, it's satisfaction surveys, it's calling and speaking with your clients afterwards to actually make sure that they know that you care about how the quality of their service was, and you want to make sure that they're happy and satisfied. This is before and after photo documentations, and this is being able to catch your issues before they become complaints and 1-star reviews and unhappy customers going online and tarnishing your reputation. This is massively important to have good systems for this and not just expect that you're just going to remember to pre-call and pre-text every client, pre-call and pre-text every service provider for every job all the time, and nothing will ever slip through the cracks, because that's not how it's going to be. You wouldn't do that on the sales side, so you shouldn't do that on the quality control side either. Next, you have your financial systems. These are separate business bank accounts and credit cards, bookkeeping processes, understanding your unit economics and your LTV of your clients, understanding, your margins, understanding your ad spend and your return on investments for ads and softwares and different tools that you're using. You have to know the numbers of your company in order to be able to make educated decisions as to what you need to keep, what you need to cut, what you need to spend more on, what you need to spend less on, what your most profitable service types are, what service types you close the most clients on, what upsells you can offer. All of these things only happen when you have clear visibility and financial systems. Not to mention that this is also going to make you stay out of legal trouble and tax trouble and all of that stuff. If you don't handle this stuff properly, like separate business accounts and bookkeeping, you are going to be in a world of trouble come tax time, come audit time, come, time that your business is actually under hot water for something. Okay. Lastly, you have communication systems. This is automated follow-up sequences. This is how your customers continue to stay in the loop on things, how your service providers continue to stay in the loop on things, and how you're just actually able to let your business run without you or any individual needing to handle every single bit of communication all of the time, because that is not sustainable for a company that wants to grow to multiple 5 figures or 6 figures a month. It can't be done off the back of just manual correspondence all the time for everything that needs to happen inside of your business. A business without systems is just a job that you built for yourself. Yeah, it's better because you won't get fired. Yeah, it's better because you can determine your input and therefore your output, but it's not a business. You can't sell that. You can't hire your replacement. It's just a better paying, better hours job, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to build something that we own and we can sell and we can automate. So if you want to be able to actually master these 5 systems, you're going to need appropriate tools to do so. So let's talk about what tool stacks I use and recommend for any partners and clients I work with. I use Jobber for CRM and scheduling. I'll have a little bit more information and a link in the bio for you to try out Jobber if you are using or you're looking to add or use a CRM, which I think is a non-negotiable thing. You can get a 14-day free trial and a free consultation call with me if you set up a Jobber Grow account. This is going to do your scheduling, your quoting, your invoicing, your follow-ups, review requests, all in one platform. It's going to take a bunch of this stuff in all 3 of these systems here. All 4 of these systems can all be handled by a Jobber-like tool. Now, there's still going to be certain things you're going to need to be responsible for, but Jobber is a fantastic thing that you can start that's actually going to do stuff in all 5 of these systems in just one simple tool, including also a landing page and website. So can't speak highly enough of Jobber. Love them. Use them for all of my businesses. Next, we have a website or landing page. Also can be included inside of Jobber. You can set up a free one in there. This could be it could be done on Wix. It could be done on WordPress. It could be done on Canva. It could be done a million different places. There are so many ways you can create a simple landing page that you can do with some quick research on a ChatGPT or Claude or any AI tool. You can find out what ways you need to optimize your website and get one up and live for $500 to $1,000 or less, or free if you're really looking to cut costs and get things started for really an inexpensive amount of money. You're going to need a phone, a business line. You can use something like Quo, also known as OpenPhone. You could use something like RingCentral, Google Voice. I've used all of them before. They all serve the same purpose. Or a lot of CRMs will have built-in phone lines as well. Any of them are good options, but you want something separate from your personal, a dedicated number for all business communication. That's going to make sure that you're not missing calls, you're not missing texts from your clients, you're organized and you're on top of stuff. Don't cut corners here and just use your personal phone number, and don't feel like you have to go buy a whole nother iPhone either. You can have a VoIP, a virtually hosted phone number, for $20 a month, or even cheaper depending on where you set it up. You can get an email through Google Workspace, again, $15 to $25 a month. This will give you a professional email, document storages, e-signatures. If you pay for a premium package, it's going to give you a Google Drive where you can keep sheets and documents for everything you're going to need. Google Workspace, no-brainer. Automations, things like Zapier, If you're using a CRM like Jobber, a lot of the automations are going to be built in, but you can easily connect all of your tools, auto responses, lead routing, and follow-up triggers through Zapier with your phone line, with your website where you're collecting opt-ins, and with a CRM like Jobber. Billing, you're going to probably just need a Stripe account. Again, if you're using Jobber, built in, it's Jobber Payments. And then a Chase bank account. Chase is super lenient with beginning businesses. You could also open a Chase business credit card. Make sure that that's the right fit for you personally, but that's what I use for all of my companies. They have 0% APR on brand new business credit cards, decent sized credit limits, and you can open a no monthly fee business checking account that just needs to keep a $2,000 minimum balance. Or even if you can't, it's still only like $12 a month or something inexpensive like that. With Stripe and a Chase account, or Jobber and a Chase account, you're ready to go. Like that's literally all you need on the payment side. And then a business credit card would be great if you want to separate your transactions. I highly recommend it if you have good enough personal credit to be able to get that, and you feel confident in your ability to open and properly manage a credit card. For e-signatures, you could use Google Workspace, like I mentioned, or you could use a DocuSign or PandaDoc. This is just something for your contracts, agreements, and proposals. It's professional, it's trackable, it's going to help you, limit your liability and your risk on things. I think that this is definitely something you should have some form of e-signature tool. A social media, you can create all these for free. Google Business Profile, Facebook page, Nextdoor page are a great place to start. And that's really the only tech stack or tools that you'll need to start building social media. It's free, it takes a little bit of your time, and you can create all of your brand assets and your content on something like Canva or an AI tool that you can have a pro version of for $20 a month, and you can get off to the races running. Again, a ChatGPT, a Claude, Canva Pro, all of these would be very sufficient for any of this stuff. It's going to be able to make your logo, social templates, graphics, paper marketing materials like business cards, door hangers, yard signs, all that stuff can all be designed in a place like this very, very simply. And then lastly, if you're ready to start ads and you want to start ads, Google and Meta ads are the best places to start. Local service ads, Google pay-per-click ads, that depends on the business model type. So don't just go and spend willy-nilly and jump right into max spending on all these ad platforms with no real research or information into your particular business model or type that you're going to be selling, the service you're going to be selling. But LSA, Google, and Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, you can start after you get your organic validation, get it all set up, get a service under your belt, get a proof of concept that your service provider can actually do what you need them to do, and get a review, even in friends and family, and tapping into a local network. That is going to be hugely important. But these are legitimately the only tools and resources that you need. And I would once again say that with something like Jobber, you could cut out Zapier, you could cut out Stripe, you could cut out landing page, you could cut out a business line, you could cut out so many of these things in these systems with one really good CRM tool if you wanted to go that route as well. Now that we've got the systems, we've figured out how we're going to get our first couple of clients, and we're off to the races. How do we scale? So let's talk about scaling. Scaling to 50K per month, 100K per month, 500K per month. It's essentially all the same playbook. You start in the hustle phase. You do everything. You generate the leads. You sell the jobs. You find your first subs. You manage the customer experience, and you are the business in some ways. This is going to be what's going to allow you to grow your business to the point that you have enough profit to go and hire your replacement. Now, if you don't have the time in the beginning, I have a solution for that as well, and we'll go over it in the action plan step. But if you do have the time, this is when you just hustle and you do it. In the 5 to 10K, you're running with your first subs. You're starting to build out systems. You're starting to actually make your revenue more predictable and figure out which advertising platforms are going to work for you, which organic platforms are going to work for you. You've got a proof of product market fit. You know what you're doing on the service delivery and customer experience side, and now you're just doubling down there. Now, in the 10 to 20K range, you're going to need definitely multiple crews. You can start to increase your price and focus on adding capacity. You can raise the prices, The clients who leave were not your best clients anyways, and were not making you enough on your margin anyway if you close them in the very beginning hustle phase, because let's face it, you're going to be giving steep discounts and you're going to be doing inexpensive services in the very early days of your company. So if you have to shed some clients at this point to make room and make capacity available for your best clients, your high paying clients, and just focus on increasing your capacity to take on new work and doubling down on whatever the marketing channels that you have that are working. Just double down, double down, double down over and over. Now in this 20 to 50K per month, this is where we want to bring in an ops manager. We want to start to expand service offerings or start to expand service territories. This is where you're going to get your first overhead hire, 3 to 4K per month. If you're hiring onshore, if you're hiring offshore, this could easily be $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And it's going to free up 20, 30, 40 plus hours a week for you to focus on growth, for you to focus on the highest value stuff, whether that's taking sales appointments, whether that's getting out the best quality brand assets, or whether that's the follow up with your most important customers. This is hugely important. You are going to be really expanding and turning this into a real saleable business in this range here, this 20 to 50K per month range. And then at the 50K plus per month range, you're becoming a portfolio operator of sorts. You're starting to really focus on increasing service offerings, increasing service territories, replicating the model over and over again, and building the empire. If you have a crazy strong proof of concept, then just continue to double down in the service area that you're operating in and with the service type that you're operating in by increasing your ad spend, increasing your number of service providers, and just focusing on growing, growing, growing. You need to focus on more crews, higher prices, more services, and a bigger geographic area. This is how you make more money. Each new crew has a whole new revenue stream that you can start selling into. Every time you raise your prices 5, 10, 15, 20%, once you get more reviews and you have less calendar space available, that goes straight to your bottom line. That becomes straight profit. Your cost to fulfill jobs should not increase when you raise your prices. When you add new services, you can sell to the same clients and increase the average value per client, plus adding more revenue streams as well. And then when you expand your geographic territory, you can just leverage the exact same playbook in new zip codes with some new subcontractors and do the same thing over and over and over again. Getting to the first 10K is about hustle and knowing how to start and finding some winning ads and just getting your feet underneath you. This is where you're going to have to do the most experimenting and just kind of figuring it out. Getting to 50K is about leverage. And I would even add that getting to 100K plus is about systems, getting out of the way, and focusing on revenue generating tasks. So this is your scaling roadmap. Now, what are the biggest mistakes that I made that you can avoid? They're these 5, and they cost me $55,000, probably more like $100,000 plus, in all honesty. It was not tracking my numbers, not knowing my margins, not knowing which ad platforms were actually making me money, and instead just thinking about it like, oh, well, I'm running ads and we're making money, so this is good. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. If I had reallocated ad dollars earlier, if I had cut service providers that were too low margin earlier, or cut customers that were too low margin earlier, I could have freed up opportunities to make way more money. This says 5,000. I think if I really went back and itemized it, this would be 20,000 plus. Underpricing my services. It makes sense in the very beginning to get your first 20, 30 reviews. Yes, it makes sense, but you need to understand the price for value and market position. Not just fear of losing clients or decreasing your closing rate. If you're closing at a 95, 100% rate, your prices are too low. That's not a good thing. You need to be charging more. And I underpriced my services for way too long. I sold my first year of Christmas lights. We sold jobs that we made no money on. My first year of cleaning, we sold jobs that we made no money on because I didn't want to hear no from customers. Now, did it help us build our customer base? Absolutely. Helped us get reviews, all of that. But I wish I had cut that off sooner in my business's life cycle. Hiring too fast. Bringing in employees when your revenue doesn't consistently support it is not going to make sense. Or bringing in subcontractors that aren't fully vetted. Being too hasty with the hiring process cost me probably $50,000 plus. But I think it will cost you $10,000 in your first year alone. Next, scaling without systems. Yeah, you think, oh, I can handle it. I can handle it. Once I have too much volume, then I'll switch over. I promise you, you will cope and you will make excuses and you will be too slow to make that transition over, and it will cost you 10,000 plus, probably 20,000 plus in lost leads, lost recurring conversion, lost reviews, and stuff that just will slip through the cracks because you are going to try so hard to manage everything yourself when it really just doesn't make sense. Start with the systems before you actually need them. And then lastly, the biggest mistake everyone makes, if I could make this a $50, $100, $200,000 mistake, I probably would say it that big just to get you to focus that doing everything alone is not the right way to do it. Trying to do all the service delivery yourself is not the right way to do it. Trying to do all the marketing yourself is not the right way to do it. Trying to just hustle forever is not the way to do it. You need to focus on delegating, hiring out, learning from experts, and cutting your learning curve down whenever possible. The biggest waste of time that I ever had was thinking that hiring someone else was just going to eat into my profit. Well, it did eat into my profit when I hired someone else, but it also doubled, tripled, quadrupled my revenue. And so it didn't matter that my profit decreased by 5K, 10K, 2K, because I ended up making 100K more, 200K more when I brought in the right people and the right systems and just got out of my own way of trying to do everything alone. Okay, now we're about an hour in. You've got all the information that you need. Genuinely, you could take this playbook, you could go and start a remote home service business with these exact tools and resources right now. But I'm going to lay it out for you even one step further, and I'm going to give you an exact action plan that you can start this week. Okay, day one, pick your business. If you're unsure, you can start with cleaning because it's very easy to find subcontractors. Everyone needs the service. You can always go and run a cleaning business. Don't overthink this step. Pick your business, pick your name, pick your branding. This is not rocket science, and you are not Pablo Picasso. Just pick something so you can get started. Don't use this as a crutch to waste your life. Day two, register your LLC, set up an insurance plan or program if you want an insurance for your business. This takes 30 to 60 minutes tops. It's that simple. You can do this online. I have a great tool that I use for all my companies so that I'm actually compliant, which I'll also let you guys know. It's called Doula. There's a link in the description of this video. I use them for tax, bookkeeping, accounting, all of my LLC filing, just to make sure that I'm actually set up properly, because a lot of you may think that just filing an LLC gives you protection, gives you immunity, makes you, now you're the man or the woman and you're good to go. That's not actually the case. So pay a couple $100 for an expert to set it all up really nicely for you. Doula has mine done in like a matter of a few days, and they handle compliance and bookkeeping and accounting for me whenever I want them to, which is perfect. Day three, you set up your infrastructure, Google business profile, a business phone number, a quick landing page, an email, boom, done. Some of these steps might take a little longer to actually finalize, but they're really not that difficult, and you can start the process on all of them the same day easily. Day four, tell everyone that you know. Post on Nextdoor, post in Facebook groups, text your friends, text your family, tell your colleagues at work if it's not going to create a problem for you. Start to live and identify by this business. You don't have to wait until it's already cool and making a bunch of money, because if you're too afraid to talk about it or buy into it, that you need to wait to that point, you're never going to get to that point. So if that's your mindset, cut that shit off right away. Day five, find your first sub. Post in a trade group, post on Nextdoor or Facebook that you're looking for somebody that offers this type of service. Interview them, vet them out, and line up your first pro. The hiring process is very simple. There is nuance to which service you want to deliver and making sure that they're going to be great, but this would be a 5-hour long video if I went all 100% into the nuance of every single thing here. So you just need to find a first sub. Do a test service at your own place if you can afford it, or go with them to the first job to oversee and make sure things go smoothly. Boom. And then book your first job. Even for a friend, even at a huge discount, even at cost. Just get started. Get the first job on the board. Get the first review. Get the first client feedback. Get the first referral that might come from it. And give yourself a proof of concept that this can work. This can work. I can make money with this. I can grow this business. I promise you, once you get that first, second, third, fourth, fifth job, it will become intoxicating to you, and you will realize that this business is infinitely scalable. And if you've done it 5 times, why can't you do it 5,000 times? And on day 7, you've got your first job done. Your sub delivers, hopefully. If they don't, you get rid of them. You go back to day 5, hire again, book another job, and you repeat the cycle. It's not the end of the world. If you manage the experience well, your customer will still be fine. You can still collect your first 5-star review after this first job, which if you vetted your sub well, they'll nail. And by day 7, you've got your LLC registered, you've got a Google business profile live or in verification, you've got your first sub lined up, your first client booked, and your first 5-star review earned, and you are on the way, and you get that first client to leave you a testimonial on Yelp. You get your first clients leave you a testimonial on your Google business profile, on Facebook, on Nextdoor, tell their friends, tell their family, give you a referral. I promise you can get this person to help you massively, especially if it's someone that is inside of your network. And if you're too afraid to ask people, you've just got to get over yourself and put your pride aside and do it. Now, here's the thing. I've laid it all out to you. It's been an hour. You're still here. You're still watching. That's amazing. But I can tell you from experience, most people will watch this video, feel all inspired, write it on their to-do list. I'm going to start my business, and they will do nothing. Don't be most people. Don't. Use this. You have a fire under you. You have motivation and excitement. Now you need to turn that into discipline, and you need to actually take this plan and go and execute on it. Okay? If you're ready to do that and you genuinely feel excited and ready to move forward and you have the discipline to do it, then here are your next steps. Okay? You've just learned in the last 60 minutes, you learned why home service is one of the best paths to business ownership, 5 of the best businesses to start with real numbers, how to operate remotely from day 1 using subs, a $0 marketing playbook you can use to get your first 5 to 10 clients, the 5 systems every home service business needs, a complete tool stack, so there's no guesswork on where you're going to get those systems from, a scaling roadmap to get you from 0 to 50K per month, and $55,000, I'd call it more like $100,000 worth of mistakes that I made so that you don't have to repeat them in your first year of business here, as well as a 7-day action plan to launch your business this week. I'm telling you, most people charge $500, $997, $1997, even $3,500 I've seen people charge for just this much information, and they just split it up into a couple video modules, and they say, here you go, it's $2,000 to learn this stuff. You just got it for free. Now you have a choice to make. Do you want to apply the information and run forward? Do you want to actually go and attack this business model or not? Okay? Regardless, if you decide that you want to do it, there are 2 paths forward from here that I would recommend to you. The first one is you go the DIY method. You use the 7-day action plan that I gave you. You have all the tools and resources already. You set up your LLC and all your infrastructure. You find some subs and you start selling jobs. You build your systems as you grow and you learn from mistakes along the way. Everything that you need is in this video. You can start this business this weekend if you have the time and the hustle to do it. Okay? Now, if you are someone who is more of a busy professional, you have a little bit more capital than you have time, you have the desire and the inclination, you want to own your own business, and you want to transition into something, you love the model, but you don't have the time and energy to just hustle, or you do, but you want to cut your learning curve and you don't want to just figure everything else out on your own, all the inevitable little hiccups that just come with business ownership. I have an equity partner program through Home Service Experts that 100 people have already started businesses inside of, where we do a done-for-you business setup and launch, give you all of our proven systems, SOPs, and playbooks, and direct access to our team for support. We take all of that 7-day action plan that I showed you, we do it all for you, and we show you exactly what the process looks like to scale, and not be bottlenecked by any one single inevitable issue that will come up, any one single hiccup or roadblock, and you can cut down your learning curve and your time to profitability immensely. You get direct access to our team, and by our team, I mean me. I work hand in hand with you, and I take an actual 5% share in your company so that we win when you win. That's the process. We've done it 100 times, like I said. I love this business. I want to own equity in as many of these businesses as possible. And the only way I can do it is with really high quality independent operators like yourself who are looking to partner with someone and cut their learning curve down so I can give you my systems and processes and make it foolproof for you, and you can operate and we can both win together. I've helped 300 plus people start businesses, 100 plus partner locations, and multiple exits of my personal and partner businesses. Proven numbers and track record here. You can skip the learning curve entirely, and I have a link to an explainer video where I go over all the details of this, exactly how it works, and what you can expect from it, what it takes to get started in the description of this video. You guys can check that out right there below. Either way, you have everything that you need, and the only wrong move here is doing nothing. So if you are looking to start with me, just head straight to the link in the description of this video. And if you're looking to DIY it, I've got 2 tools for you to start, and I have special exclusive partnerships for people that come in through me with both Doula and Jobber. Jobber is the CRM that runs your business. I am telling you guys, Jobber doesn't even have to pay me to promote them. They are so good. And if you sign up for a Jobber Grow subscription through my link in the description of the video, I'll get notified and I will give you a free 60-minute consulting call to help you set up and optimize everything personally so that it pays for itself within the first month. This is your scheduling, your quoting, your invoicing, automated follow-ups, review requests, all in one place. It's your payment processor in one place. It can be your first landing page in one place. I mean, I can't speak highly enough. Every business that I've built in the exterior services space has been run on Jobber. It's the operating system that lets you manage everything remotely. Online booking, automated quotes, one-click invoicing and payments, review requests, client communication, phone number and email built in. It is the best. And I have a 14-day free trial, like I said, with a free 60-minute consulting call. Once you sign up and just pay 1 month of your subscription, I will come in, and Jobber works with me to help you guys have success as quickly as possible in these businesses. Lastly, we have Doula. Doula is who I use for all my LLCs. You have to use a service if you want to get real protection and real results and help. If you go on the Secretary of State website and you file it yourself, you'll have an LLC, but it really won't afford you any of the protection that you're going to get through a company that actually manages your compliance and takes care of things for you. They handle your LLC registration, your LLC formation, EIN registration, registered agent, ongoing compliance and support. It's built for online and remote businesses. It's built for lean, fast operations. And if you want to make sure that your bookkeeping, tax and accounting, compliance, all of that stuff stays up to date as well, they have a ton of packages. If you click the link in my description, you can book a free consultation with them, and you can get access to all of my coupon codes reserved for my clients that are on the landing page at the link below. Such a no-brainer. I mean, both of these, whether you start with me or you start on your own, you're going to be using these if you want to run a successful home service business. So on day 1, you're forming your LLC with Doula, and on day 2, you're setting up Jobber as your operating system. Day 7, your first job is completed, your first review is earned, and you are off to the races. And please come back and comment on this video and tell me that you're off to the races and you're running with it. Or if you want to start with me, you click that link in the description, watch the explainer video about home service experts, and I'll be seeing and meeting with you personally very soon to get your home service business kicked off and running as quickly and as smoothly as possible. The only thing I can say to you is it's time to stop watching and start building. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the last hour and 15 minutes here now. Hopefully you got way more than $2,000 worth of value, and you've got a clear roadmap and plan for how you can implement taking advantage of one of the best business opportunities I've ever seen, the one that I have doubled down on now 300 times, and the one that will make me a multi-millionaire in the next few years by just taking advantage of the exact system I just laid out in front of you for free. These businesses made me a millionaire, and I genuinely believe they can do the same thing for anyone who applies the right systems and goes about it with the right attitude and energy. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out any other videos on my page if you want to learn more about stuff, but this video had everything that you need. No more excuses. It's time for action. Stop watching, start building. Make sure you leave a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.